views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to upcoming Bronx Businesses, aka UBB Arts Edition. I'm so excited to be talking to our guests today. We have three entrepreneurs on the panel who will be talking to us about their journey starting their own company and a little bit about what's to come. So up first, we have Lisa Nembard talking about her clothing brand, Copatique. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, my name is Lisa, and I do have a brand called Copacetic. I definitely started it during the pandemic, and I'm just trying my best for it to expand, and it requires a lot of determination, a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, and it's just something that I'm working on day by day.
Nice. I love it. So quick question, because I know I just butchered it and you just completely said it. So tell me, how do I pronounce the name of the brand again?
Okay, so it's pronounced Copacetic.
Copacetic. Okay.
Yeah.
Copacetic. And how did you come up with that name? What does the name mean?
So the original meaning is spelled with a C. I don't know if you guys ever heard someone come up to you or any conversation or on TV oh, how's your day going? And they're like, oh, I'm having a copacetic day. That's how people would use it in that term and that sentence. So with me, it was, so one day I heard my brother, he was talking. He was just he said something about copacetic. And I was just that sounds it's really interesting. But I didn't think nothing of it. And then I was in college and I was watching Recess, and the last word that Gretchen said before I fell asleep was copacetic. And I was just yo, when you make a brand, that's what it's going to be called, copacetic. And it's a positive word. And I feel like I'm a positive person, very outgoing, flamboyant. So I just felt like it just worked.
Nice. I love that. I actually haven't heard that term before. So that's really interesting. Thanks for bringing that new thing to my attention. So let's jump right into the first question, because I feel like you kind of touched on it already. So what exactly inspired you to start your own clothing line?
I remember when probably when I was 7 or 8, I went to the 99-cent store and I didn't know any better, and I got a shower curtain, and I was just I told my cousin yo, I want to make a dress, but not knowing that it doesn't equate to fabric. I was just you know what, I want to make a dress. And I didn't use a sewing machine. I was just using pins, and it was something that I actually could wear. And that's when my cousin was just yo, that's dope. And I was just this is something that I see myself doing. And I always felt dressing up was always a way to tell a story or express how I feel. And I'm a person I like to be comfortable. So I told myself when you do come out with a clothing line, the first thing that you're going to come out with is sweatsuits. And that I did. And I had my dad, he would tell me are you sure you want to start off with something smaller, hats or t-shirts and stuff like that? And I was just nah, I think I want to go big or go home. He was okay. And when I did come out with my sweatsuits, it actually did sell out. So I'm glad I followed my gut instinct and just continued to go forward with what I wanted to do.
Nice. I love that. I love that. I love how you said it's fashion as a form of expressing yourself, because I think fashion in a big sense is a very big outlet for arts. And this is exactly why I wanted you to be my first guest on my Arts Edition episode. So I know you mentioned your father and his advice on the first item you wanted to bring out, which was the sweatsuits. So I wanted to ask, what was the biggest obstacle you faced so far, and like what you wanted to come out with first, or maybe what kind of designs you wanted to come.
So my biggest obstacle faced when it comes to this brand, I would have to say number one would be like self-doubt. Like I tend, and like social media, like automatically I tend to like compare myself to others. And don't get me wrong, like when I see people excelling in their craft, I don't compare in a way where it's just like, well, like why they got that, or it's not that good. Like I don't become like a hater. It's more like I beat myself up, and it's just like, well, like what are you doing wrong? And I tend to beat myself up, and instead of asking like what am I doing right, I automatically like become like a pessimist, and like I compare, and then it's just like, damn, like am I really doing it? And it's just hard. So I just feel like I need to start focusing on myself and like not comparing.
Right, and building your own self-confidence with your brand. Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. So I know you brought up social media, and I know coming with self-confidence, there also comes with having a really great support system. So what has the support been like for you? I know you said you sold out, so it must be really great.
Honestly, like the support has been overwhelming in a good way. Like like everybody in my family is like a nurse or like a registered nurse, and they do know how difficult it is for creatives to like make it, because there's a lot of networking. You don't just come out of an institution like college and stuff like that, or university, and it's just like, oh, here's a job, do you want to be a designer? Like, no, you have to work for it. And they knew how much like you have to do those things in order to become the next Ralph Lauren or the next Balenciaga. So they were kind of concerned, but I feel like after a while, like once they seen how passionate I was, and like I got like my first set of inventory, they're like, yo, like she's serious. And they had my back ever since. Like my brother, my friends, cousins, people that I don't even know, like they see it. Like they see the determination. Like they know this is not something that like I just came up with out the blue. Like everybody knew like I always was into fashion.
Right. I love it. Okay. So to help you grow the support, because this is what this segment is supposed to do. I want to give you guys the outlet and the chance to help expand your business. So where can we find the clothing brand? Where can we follow you? Where can we get more information?
So right now on my website and on my Instagram is at copacetic_New York City. And my website right now is it's under construction. I just recently switched from like a platform to like another platform. This new platform is gonna allow me to like, send emails or like make campaigns on Instagram, like just get more in tuned in a professional manner. Because as I'm expanding, I just want to be more of a professional person, and like get more in tune with like direct marketing, indirect marketing, just to like expand. And yeah.
Nice. Right. Okay. So let's just for one more time, for the one time, the Instagram we could find you
At copacetic_New York City.
Got
NYC. Yeah.
Got you. NYC. So that's really awesome. I'm so happy for you for starting this. I'm so happy you followed your passion. And I know Copacetic is going to be huge. When you restock, I will be the first one to order my sweatsuit.
Of course.
So I think that's it. Thank you so much for being my first guest. I really appreciate you being here. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity to explain like what my brand is really about. So thank you guys so much.
All right. Well, that was an amazing start. Let's keep the energy going and jump into our next business. Next up, we have Jonathan Mendez speaking on his pyrography art. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
You as well. So, first question. What inspired you to do something so different as pyrography, if I'm saying that correctly? Please correct me if I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah, pyrography, or you could also say wood burning, a little bit shorter. I always think of it, but what got me into it was I always loved the smell of like wood burning, like for campfire. It always like had brought like a nice aroma to me. And during once time when I had surgery done a few years back, and it just started becoming like a little bit like a different thing for me to enjoy. And I started really picking it up, and I was like, let me start doing this. And it's something that no one here, I feel like, in the city is really doing. So I started getting into it, and I just started, loving it more.
Wow, that's really interesting that you got into it because you like the smell of burning wood. That's interesting.
Yeah,
So I know you've been working on your business for a little while now, and you've done some
that's correct.
festivals, and you've sold some pieces. So what's the biggest obstacle you faced so far?
The biggest obstacle first was like, I guess, challenging. Like for me in the beginning, I was like trying to figure out like a brand name. So for me, like I had to like go deep dive into thinking of a name for myself, like within like the company I want to do. So I had to, everything I was thinking of doing, I had to like Google and put in everything inside the computer, searching to see if anybody had this name because I don't want to, do any kind of copyright stuff. So I had to dig into it, do a lot of research, and then finally I came across using Desmond, and that's my last name is just Mendez, but I just switched the wording around. So using my last name, then designs. So I found that was kind of a challenge, the biggest challenge. And then afterwards, it was just kind of like getting out there and like kind of promoting and figuring out who to contact, how to network. So all that was like figuring out because no one was like teaching me this stuff. And I was just figuring out everything on my own.
Right. So you said the name of your business is Desmond?
Yes. Last name Mendez, and you switching the last three letters with the first three letters.
Cool, cool. So is there any place we could find you at?
Yes, it'll be Desmond Designs at Instagram.
All right, cool. At Desmond Designs on Instagram. Got you. So I know you mentioned in the beginning that this kind of started off as somewhat as a hobby for you, just a time filler. You want to expand it, and you said you're going to all these different boroughs. So where do you want to see your business and your brand in the next 10 years?
Well, I have like different kind of goals in mind, trying to, branch out to like different small businesses. I want to reach out to like either fire departments and even police stations, reach out to them. I mean, I also even love to do in the future, once everything's like gets even more settled with COVID, I would like to even do kind of like a paint and sip event, but burn and sip. So have, people come in here and I'll do wood burning with them. So I would like to, even branch that as far as branch that out as well.
Oh, that's so cool. I love the idea of a paint and sip, but with wood burning. Um,
Yeah.
is there not a danger aspect to it though?
So there is sometimes because I know sometimes with you have to be careful with the certain tools because they could like really burn you because you have to control the temperatures. So like I'll show you right here. This is right here is like one of the pens, and then you could change the tips out. So this part right here, this will get heated up to very high temperatures. So what I wanted to do a little bit different so that way it could be easier for the people. There's these type of pens. So here's like different type of pens you could use, and it's kind of like a marker in a way. So I will give the participants this marker of like, hey, what we're doing, we're gonna be drawing it out on the piece of wood first. We're gonna draw it out, whatever it is that you want, and then afterwards, I'll go over helping them with using a heat gun. And using the heat gun, if you go over it with the wood, the image will just pop out from the wood, and it will look like it's basically wood burn.
Wow, that is so cool. I would love to do something like that. That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
participate whenever everything gets settled in. I would like to, put it out there so everybody can, join in.
Definitely, definitely. I would definitely be interested in doing something like that. So, are there any particular sizes? Do you do only certain sizes of like framing, or can you do like really big pieces as well?
So yeah, I do small sizes from as small as a keychain to as big as maybe I have a bigger piece right here where I just did kind of like a huge piece where I just had no idea what to do with it. So this is kind of like about 3 feet by like 2 feet I did. And that's one of the biggest pieces I did, along with another piece I did. I did 2 feet by 2 feet for my neurosurgeon. He requested me to do a brain for him, and then I was like, sure, no problem. Now he has it hung up in his office. So it's kind of also in a way like doing tattoos. There's really no room for messing up. So you have to be extra patient with it. So that's why like sometimes I sketch on the wood first, and then after I do all the sketching that I need to do, I go over it with a burning tool. But then at the same time, I'm taking my time. Sometimes some pieces take me, a few weeks to do because I will go back into it and then take a break, go back into it, take a break.
Wow. So that is that the longest that you've spent on a piece, like a few weeks?
Yes, especially also if it's gonna be a portrait, like let's say maybe it's a family portrait. Wow, there was one piece I was commissioned to do for it was an old anniversary gift for some parents. So it was an old-fashioned photo of them I had to do of their wedding picture. So it was like maybe about I don't know, it was maybe about 30 or 40 years ago. So I took that image and then I sketched it on. After I sketched it on, took my time with it because I wanted to, make it perfect. I don't want to do a sloppy job for a client and they're not satisfied with it. I want to make sure that, of course, they're going to be happy with it. So I make sure I take my time.
Right. Wow, that's incredible. Well, I've had so much fun listening to you and you explaining your wood burning art. And you know what? I hope everybody goes to @Desmond Designs on Instagram and puts in all of their requests for every holiday, every occasion. And I can't wait to see Desmond Designs everywhere.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much for being on the show.
No, thank you for your time and for having me on. All right.
All right, so last but not least, we have Rich Lugo talking about his film/dance company, Dance Speak. Hi, Rich, how are you?
Hi, Sabrina. I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Now, before we get into the juice stuff, I want to ask one really quick question. How did you come up
Okay.
with the name Dance Speak?
Well, actually, it evolved from the idea that I wanted to create a company that spoke through movement. But in terms of the spelling, DANSPIEK, it kind of has like a European feel to it. So I created it that way because I wanted the company to be its own identity. So that's why it's spelled that way, and it's a nice portmanteau of dance and speak.
Nice, nice, got it. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So what inspired you to start Dance Speak? What made you want to start filming?
Well, when I first came to New York City in 2009, I was playing around with the idea of creating a piece that had to do with body image. And I was working with my lead dancer, Andrea, at the time, who, it was just her and I were working through it. We said, should we perform this on stage in a festival or, a collective or in some other form? Like, what's going to serve this choreography and this story best? So she was like, well, we could always do film. Once that was introduced into my mind, I immediately started putting together a treatment and figuring out like, okay, how do I tell this story in an immersive way where it's occurring in different locations and in the studio as well or at home, and just kind of being able to expand on the storyline in a new way without the limitations of stage.
Wow, that's really interesting because I know dance is not something that's really shown in the film industry a lot, and if it
Right.
is, it's bits and pieces.
Right. I mean, it has become more popular over the years, but I think usually the approach is shooting dance on a camera rather than integrating dance and film technique to actually tell the story. So that's where I think, Dance Speak has an opportunity to be innovative in that way and really develop, a new way of expressing dance.
Nice. So I know this is, as you said, it's a new way of dance, and it's so innovative and so unique. So what do you think is the biggest obstacle that you face so far?
Well, I mean, the typical obstacles that any startup would face are time and money. There's never enough time. There's never enough money. So I'm just going to say that that's nothing unique in that aspect. But when you have limited money, it does kind of put you in a situation where you're forced to think creatively. So I feel that one of the obstacles being money has actually helped me think about ways to put things together that are equally powerful as if we had money. So kind of add production value to what we're doing. But in terms of, I guess, unique obstacles, I would say being able to have people understand what I'm doing and see why it's important, right? Because a lot of things that we do, we think is important to us, but I'm trying to build something through this company that serves the community directly. So I feel like that is, once I'm able to penetrate that kind of block in terms of understanding what we're doing, I think that is the biggest obstacle to overcome.
Nice. So what is the most important goal you think? What is the main thing you want people to get out of Dance Speak?
I want them to be able to see Dance Speak and kind of respect the art of dance through film, in the same way that they respect a standard film or TV show that they would watch, and kind of still have that same connection to the work and same understanding. I mean, something I came into the first project, Fractures, with was, how can I make something that is going to feel as though you hear the dialogue in your head, but there's no actual dialogue in the movie. Like, that's the place where I want dance to be. There's so much more that dance can do. It can heal and it can tell a story, and it can drive a narrative in ways that words can't.
Nice. Love it. Love it. So I know that Dance Week has a variety of different ways that they do shoot the film. What are the other types of forms that, the narratives do come out?
Yeah, the Dance Week work has come in many formats so far. We've done short films, right? We've done a featurette behind the scenes film that incorporates the actual pieces with interviews, etc. We have done a music video series, Urban Vitality, which actually features students from the Bronx, in a post-secondary world after they finished high school, just kind of navigating through their emotions and their thoughts about what the future holds. And then we also did a series, a straight-up series that is a music video in style, but also incorporates studio footage, on-location shots, and choreography that's actually site-specific, meaning shot on a subway or shot on the bridge or wherever it may be that makes sense for the story.
Amazing. So it sounds as if Dance Week is very much well-rounded in their, in the mediums that they bring about. So going back to what you said about, time and money, what's the first step in, trying to improve that aspect and, overcome that obstacle in a sense of what's next for Dance Week?
What's next? So I feel as though at this point we could provide a service for emerging choreographers, for dance makers who, feel that they want to explore and branch out and kind of highlight their work, or maybe reformat it in a new way, in a cinematic way that's more interesting for their reels or for whatever purpose. That is a service that I feel we could provide using the DanceSpeak template. So, for example, you would have somebody in the pre-production, production, and post-production, which is me, your artistic director slash choreographer, right? And then we have a cinematographer or director of photography that would be in charge of the cinematic aspects, the filming, and then as well as a composer, someone who can create an original score, right, to the music if you don't already have music. But most importantly, an editor, someone who can drive the story home and deliver, an amazing final product in the style of DanceSpeak, but also in the style of whichever client we have as well. So we absolutely want it to be a collaborative effort and continue to explore new ways of shaping and framing dance.
That is amazing. I think so many young talents and people can benefit so much from that, and having all those resources, not given to them but provided for them. So I think that's a really great service that you're going to be providing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's my way of kind of paying it forward, because I had to go through all this on my own, right? I had to set up the company the way that it is. I had to find the people. I had to build working relationships with those individual artists, right? And then find a way to get it from the idea stage all the way to the final product. So I'm here to give that exact same service to somebody else as the company.
I love it. So where can these young talents find these services at? Where can they find more information about DanceSpeak?
Well, danspeak.com, right? So again, just to go back to the spelling, DANSPIEK.com. You may also find us on Instagram through our brand new Instagram account. We're featuring the different works over the years, as well as new works, as well as behind the scenes work, and just general insights into what we do and what our process is. So absolutely check us out on Instagram. It's at DanceSpeak Films.
At DanceSpeak Films. Okay. So we have danspeak.com and at DanceSpeak Films on Instagram.
Yes.
Nice. I love it. Okay. Well, I think that wraps up the interview for today. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. It was so great speaking to you.
Thank you. You as well. I appreciate it. The opportunity.
No problem. So let's roll the clip for an inside look at what DanceSpeak is all about. Bye.